Hey, hi, how are ya? It's Nature Jenny, and today we're back with another Expedition 33 video. So who is the hardest boss in Expedition 33? You might think it's the Paintress, Renoir, the Axons, but what if the hardest boss isn't even part of the main story? If you haven't done much exploring, you might have missed out on some pretty difficult bosses like Serpentfair and Clea. But even those bosses don't compare to how overpowered this hidden boss is. Simon. Simon makes his mark by being one of the hardest bosses to beat in the game, whether it be his white mechanics, his speed, or his long combos. But what's not well known is his story. The game leaves little snippets here and there, but today I'm going to do a deep dive into the strongest boss in the game. To understand Simon's story, we have to start at the very beginning. So if you finish the main story, you know that Aline, better known as the Paintress, entered the canvas to cope with the loss of her son Verso's life. All she had left of Verso was the canvas he had made when he was a child, so as a grieving mother, she clung to that last sliver of Verso that she could find, and she entered the canvas and decided to live there. And it's in there that she made a painted copy of her family, including Alicia, Renoir, and Clea. So we know that painters can't live in a canvas forever as it comes with a danger to their life. So when Renoir entered the painting to save Aline's life, he caused the fracture, splitting the world and setting the painted realm into chaos. This fight between Aline and Renoir ended up with Aline being trapped at the top of the monolith while Renoir got stuck at the bottom. In order to help with this fight against Aline, Renoir created the Axons, each representing a different family member. This included Visages as Verso, Cyrene as Aline, and the Old Lumiere Axon as Clea. Due to the severity of the fracture, the goal of the first expedition was simple: search and rescue. This was called Expedition Zero, and this is where we are introduced to Simon. Simon was a citizen of Lumiere, and during his time there, he had a close relationship with the Decentre family. He was close friends with Verso, and he was in a relationship with the painted Clea. But his relationship with the real Clea was very different. Upon real Clea finding the painted Clea, she kidnaps her and takes her away because she hated the portrait Maman drew of her, and she repaints this painted Clea to make Nevrons for her, as we see in the Flying Manor cutscene.
What happened to her?
I bet Claire hated Maman's portrait of her, so she painted over her.
And now she paints Nevrons.
With painted Clea out of the picture, the real Clea presents herself to Simon and disguises herself as painted Clea. Clea grants Simon godlike powers, making him powerful enough to fight Axons and break the monolith barrier. And so with these new powers, Simon defeats the Axon representing Clea and Old Lumiere, which you can see in the continent. In the continent, you can see this Axon with its long flowing hair holding a whole city on its back, perhaps representing Clea's burden of having to hold the whole family together in the real world while they fight in this painted world. The Axon's body is also pierced by the same weapon that Simon uses to fight with. In fact, in the cutscene after Phase 1, you can see that one of his attacks is preceded by the words, "The Sword of Lumiere is attacking," again showing the link between Simon and Old Lumiere. So after defeating the Axon, Clea convinces Simon to go to the monolith to fight the Paintress. However, when Simon meets Aline, she tells him the truth about Clea and this painted world. She tells him that Renoir is the true enemy, and if he wants to save Clea and this world, he must be defeated. So with this, Simon journeys to the bottom of the monolith to fight Renoir, but he is no match for him, and Simon ultimately fails his mission. Down here, he slowly loses his mind, as we can see in his journal.
My mind is breaking. My final thoughts are only a few. I despair. But one day, our suffering will end, and we will find our way back to each other. In this life. Or another.
If you want to see Simon's power firsthand, you have to travel underwater to a place called Renoir's Drafts in between Visages and Old Lumiere. There, you'll have to fight past powerful enemies and bosses to get to where Simon resides, the Abyss. You'll find yourself walking down a bridge surrounded by golden swirling lights, and from there you jump off the bridge into complete darkness. It's at the bottom of this jump where you can see Simon awaiting his next challenger, surrounded by the same golden swords that litter Old Lumiere. The fight begins with the party walking up to Simon, with Lune making the connection with Simon and Old Lumiere, and Verso revealing that Simon is his friend from Expedition Zero. From there, you're going to experience the craziest mechanics in the game, including stealing your shields, reducing your party's health to 1, and disappearing down members of your party. When you delete his first health bar, phase 2 begins, and here we can see that Simon never forgot about Clea and his oath to free her from the real Clea.
My love, these foes are beneath you. You who have fought heaven and earth and subdued giants. To find me, to free me from her grasp. Would you fall now to the likes of them? While your oath remains unfulfilled, rise. Your enemies await.
You can hear Painted Clea call out to her lover, reminding him of his oath and his power. It's in this phase that you will experience the craziest movesets to dodge in this game, including his Lightspeed attack and his Sword of Lumière attack. In addition to his crazy attacks, any movesets you memorized from phase 1 are now preceded by a second blade, meaning you have to dodge twice as much. And if you think it couldn't get any crazier, just when you think you're making progress, Simon deletes your whole board from the canvas, starting phase 3 and setting in your reserve team. The fight pushes you to your very limits, testing your reaction speed, your strength, and your adaptability. Just when you think you have his moves memorized, he ramps things up, making each phase progressively harder and faster. Simon is truly the final test of everything you learn in Expedition 33. His strength is undeniable, and I don't think any other boss comes close to matching his power. Beneath all that strength though, he has a story of heartbreak, manipulation, and tragedy, which makes him not only just the hardest boss, but in my opinion, the most compelling. If you've made it to the end of the video, let me know what you thought about his story and if you're one of the 17% of players who beat Simon. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Take care, bye bye!